So welcome to today's episode of the Day in the Life episode of the Tech Talk with me, Kazeem. Today I have Alexio Chandiwana on the show with me to share his experience and what it takes to become a solution designer. Hi, Alex, and welcome to the Tech Talk show.
Hi, Kazeem. Thanks for having me. Looking forward to it.
So let's begin with an introduction, Alex. Let my audience know a little bit about you now and what you do.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so I'm Alex Chandiwana, based in the United Kingdom. Um, what I do, I'm in the tech space, working in the business applications. I'm a Microsoft MVP. I work within the Power Platform space and Dynamics 365. I also carry out some mentoring activities in the community. So I'm the founder of Power Platform Africa Community, helping those who want to get into tech get there. So I help them get started, mentor them to interview stages until they get a job.
So let's delve right in now. Alex, what does it mean to be a solution designer? Let's start with that. What does it mean, to call yourself a solution designer?
So being a solution designer, I'm working alongside a product owner. So the product owner has some requirements. Uh, Apart from either being a business analyst, I'm more or less the bridge between the product owner and the development team. So once I understand what the product owner requires, my role in between that process is to carry out POCs. So basically proof of concepts, also documenting these requirements. Once they are documented in Jira, I also use Confluence to actually write the design to say, okay, this is why we are doing it from a strategic point of view, and why are we doing it, and how are we going to do it. And then in that process, making sure everyone understands exactly what's happening in terms of what we're looking to develop. And as a solution designer, is also being self-aware of the out-of-the-box capabilities of the business application solutions. So what I mean by that is looking forward ahead. So not just waiting for the product owner to say, okay, this is what I need, but also for me to look at what Microsoft are introducing, doing a proof of concept, doing a show and tell to the business, to the technical teams, and say, okay, look, this is what we have coming. This is how it can benefit our project. This is how it can benefit the organization. So within that whole process, I'm looking forward ahead, looking what is it we can do much better within our organization based on the new changes Microsoft are introducing.
If you will now, do you mind to share what those skills are, the required skills now to be a successful solution designer, just like yourself, for people looking to become one? And how can people learn to be one?
Yeah, so one of the key skills I highly recommend is very good communication skills and building a relationship with all your colleagues around you, because you need them. Basically, you are the centerpiece of everything happening. So if you build a relationship with the product owner, even if you are against the solution the product owner wants and you're proposing something different, they are keen to listen. And at the same time, you being open-minded, listening to your co-workers as well, developers, your testers, understanding, okay, this is their point of view, and how do we bring all that together. And one thing which is very, very important is to understand the business process, because with Microsoft products, amazing products which can benefit every business, but they are amazing if we understand the business process. And then as a solution designer, once you write your design, you need to make sure that design is clear. There's no question marks where someone thinks, okay, what does that mean? What is he trying to say here? Everything is clear, everything is documented, that everyone understands it. So even if you're not around, someone can look at it and say, okay, this is what Alex put down here. This is what we need to do. And in most cases as well, I just don't stop in terms of designs. I also look at the security side of things as well. So in terms of what are we doing with security, not just in terms of security on an application level, looking at security from a tenant level to say, okay, what are the threats we are likely to have? How are we going to mitigate those areas? So for someone looking to be a solution designer, it's more or less having a bigger picture, not just a tunnel vision, a bigger picture. Okay, this is what we can bring from this side. This is what we can bring from this side, and bring it together. So that's some of the recommendations I'll provide for someone who wants to be a solution designer.
What does your typical day look like, doing what you do now? That's doing what you do on your job, right, as a solution designer.
Yeah, so at the moment, I'm working on a project for a global automotive company. So my day-to-day role, we work on 2 weekly sprints. So my day-to-day role, I'm looking at designs which are coming on the next sprint. So at the moment, the project is a migration project. So looking at what is it we have on the backlog, what is it in terms of priorities, what is it we need to have ready in terms of design. So you're talking about integrations. What integrations do we need to have? How are we going to use those integrations? Are we going to look at things like function apps? Are we going to look at event grids in Azure to integrate with Dynamics 365? So in my day, I'm more or less writing these designs, creating proof of concepts. So it's not just something written down to say this is what needs to be done, but also being able to demonstrate to say, okay, I'm asking for this to be done in this way, but I'm also able to show what we're expecting to work. At the same time, in that whole day, I also have meetings with the product owning team, looking to see what other things do they have, and making sure it's not just the product team just bringing new requirements, but making sure those requirements align with the roadmap. So more or less setting the roadmap as well with the product team. Also, we have something we introduced, which is a free meeting. It's just called free meetings. Reason it's called free, it means the solution designer is there, the developer is there, and the tester is there. So if there's any questions surrounding a design I've made, we come together, the questions gets asked, things gets clarified. Um, one question someone might ask is, why do you do it that way when you have, for example, Scrum activities? You don't necessarily need to wait for a Scrum activity to identify a problem. So you can basically solve that problem and unblock it before a Scrum activity. So that's one of the things I do in my day job. Um, at the same time, apart from having a day job, is looking to see what Microsoft are bringing. So basically, reason for looking what Microsoft are bringing is to stay ahead, to make sure you are aware of what's coming. The last thing you want as a solution designer is a product owner telling you how the product works. So you want to be when you have a conversation with your product owner, they tell you, okay, yeah, this is what's that. Then you can go in detail because you know it already. So of course, it's highly challenging to keep track, but in your line of the project, it's very very important to make sure you keep track of what's coming in terms of what's specific. So if it's Azure, if it's a business applications, if it's DevOps, just keep an eye and look what's coming. So when you go to a meeting, you can get involved in the meeting.
So, and your job seems to be like a very exciting one, right? So I can see that already from. But I guess, do you mind to also share with us what is it that you don't like so much, perhaps, about your job?
Yeah. So yes, very good question. So I'll be lying if I say to you I like everything about my job. So one of the challenges I have myself with about my job is working from home. So I've been working at home for the past 2 years. I know the pandemic has been there, but not being able to see people, because what I've seen is sometimes when you have these Teams meetings, sometimes things get lost in translation because that interaction is not quite there. So in some cases, people tend to take offense. I can say something on video, and people say, "Okay, that's really offensive," but it's not actually offensive. It's probably how the other person on the other side is taking it. So that interaction for me, yeah, it's very very challenging. And from a solution designing point of view, what's a bit challenging? It's when you have a design and your colleagues are not keeping up to date with the product itself. And then where they're not keeping up to date with the product itself, they turn against you. They say, okay, that's not how we do things. We do it this way. So in some cases, people not wanting to adapt to new technology is one of the things which becomes a bit of a challenge for me. But again, as much as it's a challenge, it's something I like to take on and make sure people understand exactly where we are coming from and where we are going. But it works both ways. It's a challenge which can be boring, but at the same time, it's a challenge to empower others as well.
In wrapping up now, what have you learned so far, on your journey to getting to where you are now that you want to leave the people with, that the people can take a cue from, learn from?
Yeah, so in terms of what I've learned so far, in terms of my background, I don't come from a university background, and I don't come from a tech background myself. So my journey started on Facebook, where I just asked people how to get into tech, right? So one of the tips I want to give everyone is, if you want to know something, feel free to ask the question. There is no silly question. Everyone learns every single day. There's something we learn ourselves as human beings. When you get to a project, it's very, very important to understand what the project is all about, what is involved in terms of the business process. How do they operate? What are they looking to get out of tech? And in some cases, believe me or not, there are things we don't know. It's important we ask. So never shy away to ask, to say, okay, I do not understand this. I've just joined the project. Where is there any documentation to it? Can someone show me how it currently works so you fully understand it? If you happen to make a mistake, please, by all means, own up to it. Do not refuse to take responsibility if things go wrong. That's where we can make improvements. So if things go wrong, straight away put your hand up. I got it wrong here. How can I improve it? Or this is how I'm going to improve it going forward. And at the same time, keep learning. There's a lot of amazing learning materials on Microsoft Learn, Udacity, where you can go and learn. And at the same time, you have an amazing web show here with Kazeem. Join in, listen, and learn from others, and also share your experiences. So it's important for you to learn from others, but also allow others to learn from you. So it's one of the recommendations I'll give for anyone who's looking to make those steps and go to a different level in terms of the tech space.
Any last word before we say bye bye now, Alex?
Yeah, so yeah, the last words for me is Kazim. Thank you so much for having me here. I really appreciate it. And for anyone who may have any questions for me, please feel free to connect. Alexio Chandiwana on LinkedIn, A Chandiwana on Twitter. If you have any questions about tech, feel free to ask those questions. If you want to have a conversation, let me know. I'm always open to have those conversations.
So you know where to find Alex now on social media. So if you're new to the channel, please do subscribe. It's the Tech Talk with Kazeem on YouTube. And if you like this content as well, please do give it a thumbs up. All right. Thank you very much, Alex, for your time on today's episode of the show. So here's where we're going to be drawing the curtain today. So from myself and Alexio now, it's a bye-bye, and I'll catch you again next time. Thank you very much, Alex.
Thanks, Kazim.